I think the stat is this is the first time since 2007, I believe, that a 11th seed or higher, lower, 11 seed or lower is not in the Sweet 16. And you're hearing the NIL is the death of the mid-major because of the NIL, because of transfer portal. This is the end of college basketball. This is the end of March Madness. You're hearing so many takes about this and so many different points of views. And a lot of them have some validity to it. Let me first explain the superpower that mid-majors had going into March Madness. You see, there is a reason why a lot of times 90% of the time, 99% of the time, a 16 seed cannot beat a 1 seed. It has happened, but 9 times out of 10, that's not going to happen. The reason is, obviously, when you look at ranking, the 16th seed is looked as the worst team, maybe the team that just got in, going up against the best team in the region or the best team in the tournament. But the superpower that a lot of these mid-majors had, I don't say have anymore, I said had. The superpower that a lot of these mid-majors had over the bigger schools is they would retain talent. A lot of their talent would not be able to transfer, or maybe didn't have the offers, or maybe just couldn't work or didn't work at a Power 5 school. So they'd go to a mid-major and they would stay for 3 years. They stay for 4 years. So once you get to the tournament, one thing I'll say is this: talent supersedes everything. If you're not talented, it doesn't matter. Now, the blessing is every team that is in college basketball, every team that's participating in the tournament is talented. The superpower is a lot of the mid-majors was senior-laden teams. And when you're talented, the thing that freshmen and a lot of sophomores don't really have is obviously experience. And when you just have talent, that's the thing. That's the not issue, but that's the thing that's held Coach Calipari back his entire career. There's a reason why, with all the NBA players that has gone through Kentucky when he was a coach, or gone through Memphis like Derrick Rose, and now in Arkansas, the reason why he has won national championship. Mind you, he's had John Wall, he's had DeMarcus Cousins, he's had Devin Booker, he's had not DeAndre Ayton, he's had Bam Adebayo, he's had De'Aaron Fox, he's had Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, he's had who else has he had? He's had Eric Bledsoe. Like I said, Derrick Rose when he was in Memphis. There's a reason why he has won national championship, and that's because once you get to the tournament, talent alone doesn't win you national championships. It has to be talent, it has to be experience. You don't see a lot of freshman-led or freshman-heavy teams win the national championship. That's kind of why I'm still, even though I am admittedly a hater in this situation, that's why I'm not extremely high on Duke. Because they're all freshmen pretty much. But mid-majors would always have senior-laden teams, which gave them an advantage. When you're talented, when you're experienced, you will always have a leg up. That doesn't mean you're necessarily guaranteed to win. But when you look at a lot of the national championships, they have experience. They have junior and senior-led teams. That was always a mid-majors superpower when we talk about college basketball in the tournament. Like how a FAU was able to make a deep run, or San Diego State was able to make a deep run. They had senior-laden teams. Remember Florida, Dunk University, Florida Gulf Coast, senior-laden teams. This is where I feel the arguments that I'm hearing bring some type of validity. NIL and the ability for schools to pay out NIL deals essentially, I'm not going to say killed, but I'm going to say made it 10 times harder. Not for mid-majors to compete in the tournament, but for mid-majors to retain talent. Because at the end of the day, it doesn't matter who you are. It doesn't matter how high of a mid-major rank you have. You will never have enough or have more money than an Auburn. You will never have more money than a Florida. You'd never have more money than a Duke. You'd never have more money than an Alabama. And now that's why the first day of the transfer portal, you see 200 plus students enter the transfer portal, some of which are actually still playing, i.e. Scottie Pippen's son, plays from Michigan, is not playing anymore because he put his name in the transfer portal. Why the transfer portal was in the middle of March Madness, I don't know, but that's what it is. So you're already at a disadvantage because you don't have the resources, you don't have the money like a big Power 5 school. But your superpower was you're able to keep seniors, you're able to keep students. Students that may not be able to transfer stay with you, so they're there for 3-4 years. Well, now you can look and say, all right, I can just transfer to a big school and they pay me money. There's no incentive for me to stay at this mid-major. If this mid-major is paying me, let's say $500K, but I can get $8 million to play for UNC, what are you going to do? So I'm not saying that there can't be a mid-major that makes a run. Hell, if it wasn't for the incredible shot that Queen from Maryland hit, Colorado State would have debunked all this. Actually, no, they wouldn't have debunked it, but this wouldn't have been a thing. But you're seeing now, look at all the teams. In fact, look at all the teams that are in the Sweet 16. It's no coincidence that I believe, 11 of them are in the SEC? The conference that has the most money because of football? I don't think it's the death of mid-majors. What I do think it is it shows you just really how people view and what people really want to see when it comes to March Madness. Unless that you're just a fan of a school that's still playing, or you know someone that goes, who knows. People tune into college, the March Madness tournament, for upsets. The reason why this is even a topic, and the reason why this is noticeable, because a lot of people pick mid-major schools to make people love the Cinderella story. People love the Cinderella run. So when you see a whole McNeese, and you see how many people are going for McNeese, when you saw how many people were riding for Colorado State, that's not because they went to McNeese. I don't even know where McNeese is. No offense to them. But it's because people want to see an upset. People want to ride that Cinderella train. That, in my opinion, is over. I'm not saying it cannot happen. But what I'm saying is, get used to this. Because I told you guys during the college football year that NILs and the transfer portal is going to drastically change how we see college sports. At the time, I was talking about college football, but I think I made it a point to say sports in general. And now you're seeing the effects of this NIL, the effects of the transfer portal in college basketball. When has the SEC ever been this good? Yes, I know that there have been teams that has won, like Florida. Florida has won the national championship. Auburn's won. When has the SEC been this stacked? It's no coincidence that now that NIL, that schools can pay out NIL, it's no coincidence that the SEC is dominating. It's also no coincidence that the ACC is not. The ACC that has been slow, they've been the dominant program or dominant conference when it comes to college basketball. But they've also had that mindset of, well, we can always get talent. That's what I talked about that with North Carolina. That's why they're in the predicament they're in. That's why the whole ACC has one team representing them in the Sweet 16. And it's no coincidence that that one team dealt out the most NIL money in the ACC. Look, I think it's up for interpretation, as in if this is good for college basketball, if this is good for college sports. I will always say that I want athletes to get paid. I think it's important for athletes to get paid. I am for NIL. I am for a player that makes a school millions upon millions of dollars. I am for them getting their cut. So I am extremely pro NIL. I'm extremely pro players getting paid. But I also understand that there are things that come with that. And this is a byproduct. Mid-majors, it's going to be tough. It's going to be tough when the one superpower that you had essentially has been taken away. Because now when a player gets on a big school like a Duke, like a Clemson, like a Ole Miss, you're not going to say always, but 9 times out of 10, you're going to lose that bidding war because they always have enough money or always have more money than you. And let's not get it twisted. I know people are going to throw out, this is the wild, wild. No, it's not. It's just like real life. It's just like any other company. If you work for Amazon and you're making $150K a year, and then Microsoft says, hey, we'll give you $200K. And then Apple says, hey, we'll give you $350 a year. Where do you think you're going? It don't matter the connections you built over at Amazon. If Amazon's paying you $150K a year and Apple says, hey, we'll pay you $350 to do the same exact thing with better employees, because those employees are getting paid the $350K too. So we're stacked over here. Who do you think is going to win that bidding war? It's just like that in college basketball. You think, hell, look at the manager for McNeese. The manager, homie that's carrying the boombox, was getting like $100K in NIL deal. He left with his coach because he gets more money where they're going. So I think that it is a great thing for college basketball that these players are getting paid. Great thing. But I think that there are some extremely negative side effects to it, and we're seeing it right before our eyes in the tournament. We're seeing it with the mid majors, and honestly, we're seeing it when it comes to entertainment. Now, this is probably going to sound like hate because I'm a North Carolina fan and we lost, but like I talked about it when I was talking about the Juju Watkins. It's hard. The one thing that the women, even though I think it's a stupid rule, I think it's dumb that on the women's side, you have to stay for like at least 3 years. I think that is asinine. It's like, if I'm good enough as a freshman to go play for the W, why in God's name can I not do that? I think that's so stupid, but that's the rule. But with that, you get people like a Juju Watkins. You get people like a Hannah Hidalgo or Olivia Miles or Paige Beckerts. People that's been there for a while that you're able to draw a kinship with. You're able to become a fan because they're there for a lot longer. You don't get that with college, with the men's side, because you see a bunch of movement and a bunch of players and just stacked teams. That's why, and you can say I'm wrong. I don't believe so. You can say I'm wrong, but this is, like I said, like the 4th or 5th straight year where not only is there more intrigue, more stardom, more storylines when it comes to the women's side of the tournament than the men's. So, no, I don't think NILs have killed the mid-major. I do think that NILs have drastically affected a Cinderella. I don't think we're going to get a lot of Cinderellas from now on, because you're already fighting with both hands behind your back at this point if you're a mid-major. And the other team has a bazooka. So you're not going to get a lot of McNeeses. On top of that, we talked about the transfer portal, and I love what Jay Billis said it because it's true. It's like there's coaches that are coaching right now that have already agreed to a new coaching to coach a new school once their team loses in the tournament. So we get upset when students transfer mid tournament, like Scottie Pippen's son, like homie in Penn State football, the backup quarterback that was vital for their team. He transferred, and because I don't know why the transfer dates are when they are, but he had to transfer before I believe the semifinal game. Like, why? I know it aligns with the actual school year, but still, it's weird. But why is there no uproar? Yo, Texas hired the dude that played or that coached Xavier, Sean, I forgot his last name. The coach from McNeese left 10 minutes after McNeese lost with, like I said, the equipment manager guy. Nobody bats an eye when coaches move from school to school mid-season, or they said that they've agreed to a contract while you're still coaching a team in the tournament, but they get all up in arms when a student does it. That's crazy to me. College, more and more, and the last thing I'll say about this is more and more you can see why some of these legendary coaches have left, like the Roy Williams, like the Coach K's. You can see why they left, because college basketball, as we know it, has changed. I'm not going to say forever because I don't know what forever holds, but it has changed. And look no further than the mid majors. There's time. Yeah. Why do you think Maryland is so good this year? Maryland has one national championship with Juan Dixon. Why do you think they're good so year? Look at how many transfers they have, one, and how much those transfers and freshmen are getting paid. Oh man, you stayed to the end of the video. I appreciate you. If you like what you saw, be sure to hit that subscribe button so you'll never miss any content from your boy. You can also go back and watch past episodes, past clips, and don't forget that the Unpopular Podcast new episodes drop every Wednesday and Saturday. Appreciate you.